Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I am delighted to be joined with Victoria. Victoria is literally in the gorgeous Mexico City now. How are you, Victoria?
Hi, I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you did the fantastic film Who, How and Where, but for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at a clip.
Fue su amante. La mató envenenada en su casa. ¿Tienen algo que decir?
No, yo tampoco.
¿Qué fue eso?
¿Qué hacen? Estamos jugando un juego de mesa. Vente. Bueno, salud.
Victoria, I wish that we could bring New Filmmakers to Mexico City and have a big party, but in the meantime, we'll do this.
Okay. I
Um,
wish that too. Okay.
but you are such a talented filmmaker. I loved your film. But for those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Yeah, the short film is about a group of friends that got together and they're playing a board game that is kind of a clue where you have to guess who is the murderer, what was the murder weapon, and where did the murder happen. While they're playing, at the same time they're talking about one of the youngest one of the group that she lost her virginity, but she doesn't realize where did she left it. And it's basically talking about the normalization of violence against women here in Mexico, especially in the north of Mexico, which is where I'm from, that is Torreon, Coahuila. So they don't realize that everything that they are talking about is wrong, but actually it's real.
It, Victoria, it's a brilliant story, like really, really good story. In this, this world that you kind of created for us. I thought, I mean, the cast are so good. Like the way they work with each other are great, and we'll get into that. And it's so sad that this is based upon true situations of
Yes.
violence against women that is disgusting and horrible. And I'm so glad you made awareness through that through your story. Where, Victoria, when was the inspiration for you where you decided that I want to take this story and turn it into a film?
Actually, I start writing this story on 28th of March, which is the day that in Mexico City we all go to walk on the streets on behalf of the rights for women. But on that day, I wasn't able to do it because it was COVID. So I decided to start writing something about it and the feeling of melancholy, of impotence, of not being able to do anything. And I was talking with some of my friends, female friends, and we were talking about how when you go out, you feel like it's kind of a game. We said a video game, but I wasn't going to do a video game. But it feels like a video game that you end up winning when you are home back in your bed, because we are always like, okay, send me a text when you are home. So it's like, okay, I made it through all these obstacles, the taxi, the bar, the party, the friend, or the guy that you'll have a date with. And at the end, when you are home, say it's like winning a game. So that's what inspired me to do this board game, to make it look like that, but it's actually like reality, but feel
It,
like a board game.
it's so amazing because I think men particularly don't realize all of those hurdles that woman would go through when they're going on a date with someone or getting the taxi, all those things to understand and keep you safe. And
Yes.
I'm so glad that you designed it in such a way of a board game, because it really is like overcoming these obstacles to get to the finish, right? Such a clever way to do that, and well done for doing that during a pandemic as well, making this story. I thought the design of the whole world you created was so fantastic. The production design, the environment that you created for us, the world, everything was so spectacular. And we'll get into that too. But your cast play off so well off each other. Like, I love the way you directed it, the way you filmed it. Tell us a little bit about how you casted and how you wanted to, how you worked as a director with your cast.
Okay. Actually, I felt like it was kind of magic because I was going to be back home in Torreon, Coahuila, which is where I'm from. It's a small city, but it's a city. It's not like a town. And I wanted to spend my time there working on something. And I had this script, and it's inspired of something we call miércolitos, that is like saying like the small word for Tuesday or Wednesday. And it's a tradition to be with your friends and talk about all your problems, and while you have a glass of wine, and that's like something that happens. So when I bring this script to my hometown, the first cast that I end up casting did it perfectly. It was like intuition, because I wanted to have 4 females of different ages, and they were really close to what the character was saying, like each character. So they read the script in a way that I wanted to be read it. So they did it like in the first time, in the first moment. Later, I met another group of friends. I wanted to have a casting of 4. So on the second round of casting, it wasn't the same. So I ended up picking the first group of friends that I met, and they connect really quickly with the characters.
That's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I love that you casted like a group of friends like that. That's so unique. And then working with them, you know, as a director, what's your kind of process? Is it a kind of lots of rehearsals? Do you improvise? Like, how's that process for you as a director with your actors?
It depends on the project. This project in particular, I didn't want anything of improv, because each word that they are saying has an actual meaning, and the way they had to deliver it has to be this way, because I mean they're talking about the taxi driver, the police, the clothing, like everything has to be saying in this way. Or one of them is saying like the father of a girl is being a good father because he is brushing the hair. Like they had to say it because of something. So they didn't improv a lot. For them that was kind of hard, because they were not really used to not improv. They were more like theater actresses. So for them that was difficult, but they end up learning it. We rehearsed for 1 week, just 1 week. We had to do it in just one space because it was COVID. We didn't want to get in a lot of trouble. It was my house, actually. And it worked because one of the characters was inspiring my mom. So the house was like perfect. I wrote it thinking about my house.
The house was perfect, like it really was. And so I mean, you know, I love that and I think it works so well being in one space. Like, you know, the way the camera
Yes.
moved, the dynamic, like you kind of wanted to create this, you know, kind of enclosed space. But it, you know,
Yes.
it looked really good. I mean, I thought the way it looks, the way it was shot was really clever. Did you have an idea of how you wanted to shoot it? Because I love the kind of circling around the characters, and you know, and then, you know, there was some, you know, really kind of really thoughtful kind of environment that I thought was really clever as well.
Yeah, when I write, actually, I feel like I'm painting the scene at the same time. So I'm always having like the visualization of what I'm doing. And in this, I felt like it was kind of difficult to keep the attention of people in just a table. But actually, I wanted to do it as as something that I had to manage, like for me. And I wanted to make it feel like claustrophobic, and they were like the planes are going closer and closer and closer, and at the beginning and the ending, you just see one character, and you're kind of getting inside of them with the camera. And also, I didn't want to show any violence. Like we see the dead girls, but I didn't want to show anything because I don't feel comfortable showing the action. Just talking about it, I don't want to be like amarillistic like about it.
You know, it's so funny about saying claustrophobic, because the way I actually I started to feel that as an audience member. I was like, oh, this is really enclosed, and you really showed that in your film as well. From this project, I mean, goodness me, you wrote this, you know, during the pandemic, you know, obviously during a time that was, you know, very around the March time when it's very important for the march, you know, for women against violence. Looking back on this project, like what have you learned mostly from this project?
I learned actually when I was designing, because I created the real board game and I wanted to do it in a truthful way, like talking about the truth. Like each card has a meaning. Like I studied who are the most principal victims of feminicides in the world. So I wanted to represent, and the reality is like it's like kids of 4 years old, because they cannot talk about it. If the father of the stepfather is being violent against her, it happens a lot that they say something and the mom doesn't believe it, or they don't say it because they're afraid. So kids are a big amount of victim. Also transgender females, that's why I put it. So the victims that I put are there because of something. And also I studied the weapons that they most used. And you will say that they will pick a gun or something just to make it quick, but they don't, because they don't want to make it quick, because they enjoy it. It's something about power and being able to prove it. So they pick like a white gun, because they want to feel the act, not like it's something they have to do just like that as work, like try to steal some money for someone.
Well, I'm so glad, Victoria, that you know just included, you know, some of the most vulnerable communities, you know, that are experience this. I mean, certainly the transgender community, you know, children that, you know, not able to necessarily vocalize what they've been through.
Yeah.
I think that was really so important in the world, to have a showcase of the world we live in and people that go through it, and all types of different people from different communities that go through it too. And that's amazing. This film was obviously so special for us because it was part of NewFilmmakers LA, where we celebrate, you know, Central and South America with the Academy, with the Oscars, which was so special. I can't tell you how fantastic your film was on the big screen. Got a tremendous audience reaction too. And I'm just curious, like, what has the reaction been like for you from this film? And kind of following through from that, like, what did you want your audience to take from your film? It's a very important film, but you know, what did you want your audience to take from it? And what has the reaction been like for you since you put this film out there?
I want to talk about the normalization of violence. And I think my public wouldn't be a director who is trying to deconstruct herself from Mexico City. It's more like these female that live in out of Mexico City, that they live on the north or on the south, and they don't realize that what they are going through, it's not normal. So I try to put it in a way. Actually, for me, it's a dark comedy, and when people watch it, they feel really uncomfortable, like, because these girls are laughing, and they feel uncomfortable because when it happens to you, you don't realize it looks that bad. So maybe you're saying that you were at the bar and then a guy tried to put his hand inside of you or something, and you didn't realize because you have two glasses with you because you wanted to keep your drinks on, and you don't realize. But when you watch someone saying it, there's something in your head that says, oh, okay, so that doesn't look good. And the reaction in here as well, like girls, when female watch this film, they laugh, but like it's a nervous laughing, like, oh yeah, I know that happened to me too. And guys feel really, really, really uncomfortable watching it. They don't feel like they can laugh about it. They just feel like with a little guilt, I guess. And my friends that were my inspiration, when they watch it, they feel really, really like they were not uncomfortable. They were like really worried about themselves.
No, I think it's so. I'm so happy that you made a film about this such an important subject, and you did it with amazing talent of how you visualized it. It was so amazing to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of your artistic vision and talking to and making projects that are gonna change and educate and enhance lives and make a difference. So thank you for bringing this film to us. Obviously, it's been an amazing experience. What is next?
Thank you.
What is next for you, Victoria?
Right now I'm in post-production of another short film that talks about a girl who is a survivor of human trafficking, but she's always like, she escaped from the place where she is kidnapped, but she ends up going back all the time because she doesn't know how to live outside of this situation. And that's something that happens a lot. I was reading about it, and when you go through a violence environment all your life, when you go outside and you try to be part of society again, you don't understand, and society doesn't know how to deal with you. Maybe they talk to you, but in a way like they feel they own you something, and they prefer to go back because it's just easier. That's the short film I'm on post-production right now. She thinks she's a fish also, because people doesn't feel a lot of guilt with fishes. When they eat fish, they don't feel it's more like an animal, like a dog, something.
That's an amazing analogy and a really great story, Victoria. I'm already ready for that film too. So
Okay,
please
I'll send it.
make it and bring it back to New Filmmakers for sure. But we're
I
so
will.
grateful. And thank you for making projects. Thank you for making such a great stand. On against violence, against women and human trafficking, because these things they're never subjects that we can't talk enough about, and there's so much suffering out there. And thank you for bringing your talents and turning these into films. But congratulations on this film. Looking forward to your next film, and we'll have to come and all visit you at New Filmmakers in Mexico City soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the space, for this opportunity, and for the attention on watching my film. I'm gonna send my next film, of course.
Yeah.
I'll wait for you here in Mexico City.
Yes, thank you so much.